about 150 to 200,000 pound of additional costs that were involved. So we needed to generate just over £2 million worth of finance it's actually worked out in about a 3-week period. And I don't know how we did it, but we got together and we did it. We pulled it off.
Awesome. We are here for another Transformational Tuesday. And do we have a treat for you? Oh my goodness. We have the one and only Shane Duff that's joining us. He's going to tell us his stories of his footballing career. We're not going to talk anything about property whatsoever. I actually brought him on here and he thought he was going to be talking about property. And now he's realized that that's not the case and it's live. Oh, at least we're recording it live. I don't know where you're seeing it. But hey, look, if you want to get more inspirational stories on how to live your life financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually free and develop in those areas, make sure you subscribe to this channel. You turn on the notifications bell so you get notified every time we bring a Shane Duff on to this channel. And by the way, share it and comments. I want to hear your questions. If you have any questions for Shane, you can ask him anything. He told me before, he's totally open to answer any question about anything that you want to ask him. Isn't that right, Shane?
Absolutely.
Good. So this guy is very inspirational. Over the last couple of years, he's done some amazing things. So if there is anything additional that you want to know, then put it in the comments, because he may answer it himself, but we may even also do another video because we're in lockdown, quarantine right now. I know it's eased up just a little bit, but we're here and we said we were going to do it like this just because Shane's, background in his big brother chair just looks so awesome. And if we did it here, we wouldn't be able to see that. So, first of all, Shane, let me just do a quick intro. So, ex-professional footballer, which you don't really like to tell people, do you?
No.
But it's out there now. So, this is cool because I know I met you a couple of years ago. And it was funny because we were speaking through the same facility that we're using now. Yeah. And that's kind of how we met. And since then, there's been some amazing results, some amazing opportunities and problems and challenges that have all come up, and we've been through some, and we've transformed many people's lives together. And we're gonna touch on all of these little touch points. So if you just want to explain, so because people want to know like what are all the different routes and what are all the different things that might come up in any journey. We're talking about property and we might touch on that a lot, but this is about life, isn't it? Isn't property just a vehicle to be able to experience life?
Yeah, completely. But it certainly wasn't happening like that. I found that doing property was in addition to my, at the time, current day job. And I had less and less time. And then I thought, I've got to be doing something wrong here because I didn't have any time to myself. Didn't have any time with my son at the time, who was only 6 months old.
Wow.
You get inspired by other people. So I started looking and watching, going, that's what I want. I just wanted to know, how did I do it?
Uh-huh. So how long were you in property? Did you start property while you were still a footballer, or was this after?
I had always had an interest in property, but I'd never done anything in property. And then when I retired in summer 2011, I actually went back to university. So when I went back to university as a mature student, it was while I was at university that I started actually doing some property. Yeah.
Is that like a category, like mature student? Is that like...
Yeah, I was like the guy. I thought, God, it was quite embarrassing at the time. When you're at university, and the lecturers at the front, he goes, I get in pairs. And I'm looking around next to me. And like the guy or the girl next to me is probably thinking, I don't want to be doing anything with that old guy. So I used to make sure I was last in.
Old guy, come on, how old were you then?
How old was I? I'd have been about, what was it? I'd have been 30 maybe.
Oh wow, 20 years ago then.
Hey. So I was last in the lectures theatre, first out, just cracked on with it.
Yeah. So then where did property come into it?
Property was just something I thought I need to start generating an income, because through university I had the story was, when I finished playing football, I thought, God, I want to go to university. I always wanted to go, but never got the opportunity because I took football. And I retired early, so obviously it throws you into a bit of financial chaos, because all of a sudden you stop getting paid. You don't start getting reduced pay; it just stops. So I thought, right, what can I do here? So I put the money I had, I just put in a bank. I thought, that there has got to get me through 3 years, because obviously you still had all your liabilities. You still needed to eat. You had your phone bill, you had your mortgage, your car, all the stuff going on. So that, after 2 years, or about 18 months of it, that was just dwindling. I thought, God, this has got to change. And a mantra I like to live my life by is put myself in a situation where I've got a choice. And I saw some property education came up. So I thought, if I make that decision now, I can pay for it. It would leave me with not a lot, but I thought, well, if I go and work out how to do it, I'm sure I'll be able to do it. And that was it, really. I made the decision, because I thought if I waited 9 months, that amount of money would be below what the cost of the training was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what got me started.
Okay, so that got you started. So then what happened? You took on a first deal or something?
Yeah, I went on, I did some training, I took on a deal, and I basically started going on a deal by deal basis. And
what was the strategy? Was it just one strategy?
Yeah, it was just flipping. I thought, well, I found a property. I had a little bit of money left to find a deposit myself, and then I found there's a family member, my auntie and uncle. They put in the refurb. I thought, and we did it, and it was like all hands to the bump. But I didn't pay myself. I thought, I will commit to this. Spent loads of hours there. I couldn't do any trades or anything, but I thought, I'll go there. I'll learn. I will put myself 100% into this, and I will know what I'm doing. So only after going through that process, I thought, right, that's good. Yeah, it works, but no money went into my pocket. And then you do it again, and no money goes into your pocket. You're building a pot, but nothing's happening.
Why? Like, explain what was going on with the numbers here.
Well, I was as a deal, without me in it, it was making money. So the strategy itself, you go, it's working. But what I wanted was actually, well, I need to make more money because I want to be able to pay for myself. And I was just spending more evenings and more weekends on site, basically walking around with a sweeping brush, just humping and dumping, just basically being a labourer, watching what's going on. Because I was that guy who wanted to be the expert in everything. I wanted to know everything about everything. Mm-hmm. I didn't want anyone pulling the wool over my eyes. I didn't want someone charging me 150 quid when really it should have been 80. So that's what I went down. I thought, and then I just thought, this is not working. This is not what it's about. If I do more projects, I'm just going to be busier doing it this way. So then I started changing the way I thought, and that's when I got involved in. I saw what you guys were doing. I thought, let's message these guys, see what's going on. How are they doing it?
Yeah. Okay. Good. So now I kind of remember this part, right? Because we had a conversation, and you said, yeah. So I've been doing. Was it 5 years that you've been doing it that for?
Yeah. Would it have been that long? Yeah, would have been roughly that. Yeah, 4 or 5 years maybe.
I mean, I've got to say, you got some steel there, my friend, because you endured doing that for 5 years. You built up some endurance doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I remember I asked you the question. I said, okay, so why are you only doing one at a time? Why, do you not want to scale up? And you said it was a financial challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was about, I need to sell that one to be able to go on to the next one. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then I remember, we said, well, hey, look, if you want to come on board, you want to be part of real life and start utilizing all the resources that we have and the coaching and the mentoring, then let's do that. And then what did you say?
Well, that was it. The first thing, it was like, well, do you want to get involved in the coaching? And I was like, okay, what is that? And then that big number came at me. I was like, oh, what? And then that was when the old alarm bells started going. And to be fair, my missus at the time, Alice, she was saying, you just need to go full time. You know what you're doing, just do it. And I was like, no way, I can't do this. And then one thing I am is committed. And I still remember, I said, right, we'll let you know. And then that night, about 10 minutes after the call, I think we just sent you a photo. I still remember it now. Me and Alice were both like that. And one thing you said, he goes, full commitment from you, yeah? And I still remember the message. It said something along the lines of, one thing I am is committed. And then I decided to hand him a notice.
Yeah, good. So that was it. You were all in, which means that you had to make money. You had to make money and you had to make it work. So I applaud you for that. So then at that point we started, and on our first session, you said you quit your job.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I like this situation. Someone who's serious. I love serious people who want to get serious results. So then let's talk about like what kind of happened, what changed for you? Because you said your challenges before was raising finance, raising the money, which limited the number of jobs you could do, and obviously kind of almost pigeonholed you to this flip strategy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened then?
I think it was just a massive case of, I didn't realize how conditioned I was. I was really, really fearful of making a big mistake. I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to lose any money. Even when I paid for the training originally back in the time, I didn't tell anybody. Didn't tell any family members because I knew they thought it may be risky. But I had that inner belief in myself. I thought, I'm going to make this happen. And I think when I paid, like when I paid for the coaching, in my head I'm thinking, I've got to make this work. Because at the time, my little boy was 6 months old, and we had basically rented the house out, and we moved into a 1-bed apartment. So I'm thinking, I'm quitting my job. I'm putting my young family in a bit of a situation here. If this doesn't work, this is the little voice comes back and goes, this is a massive risk. But then ultimately, I just thought, you know what, I'm a really employable person. If this don't work, I can just go and get another job. And the only thing that's stopping me was pride. So the first part of the process was just swallow your pride. Who could you be if you start maybe being open to new ways of working? And that was the biggest thing, really, because I'm a rational man, I'm a logical man, I like thinking things through, which is credit to me at times, but also I started becoming aware that was probably holding me back. And I thought, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to it, I'm going to give it a chance.
Good. Okay, cool. So then what started to happen? Like what happened in your property journey? What deals were you picking up? What results did you start to get?
I just started, I don't know, I just started seeing more opportunities. I had more time, just seeing more opportunities. I was connecting with what I wanted. So I was a little bit more focused on what I was looking for. I started connecting with people, and then what I found, I'm a really good people person. So people started feeling, well, people knew who I was, people liked me, I had value to them. Whereas I thought originally, well, I didn't know enough, I didn't have enough information. But then I quickly realized it's not about information. Information is everywhere around. Should you just go into www. If you don't know the answer, it's always out there. So then I started working out what I was good at and really focusing on that. And then working out what I wasn't so good at, which is loads, but then trying to find people who could fill all those gaps for me. And that was it. I just started looking at where I wanted to go and started trying to put the piece in the jigsaw on the way.
Yeah. So I remember just a few short sessions, maybe even 2 sessions in, you started to raise some money, right?
Well, yeah, I did the whole live video thing, and I was like, what is this about? Really didn't want to do it. And I even had notes. I had notes, so much so that one of my mates even commented on the video. And then somebody contacted me off that one video. It was 90 seconds, I'll never forget it. And he goes, oh, Shane, I'm really interested in what you're doing. I do have £25,000. I'd be potentially interested in seeing what you've got to offer. And I was like, are you joking? He wasn't someone I knew. It was someone who knew of me. So then you start thinking, well, actually, some people know of you, but some people know what you're like as a person. And I thought, nah, this is too good to be true. And to this day, that one person ended up investing, and he's been paid back, and he's come back in again, and I've just paid him back last month. So he's an ongoing investor for me.
Good. You know, because when people hear about you and then they find out that somebody else has to tell them that you're a footballer because you don't tell anybody, then people are like, oh yeah, well, of course he can do these deals because, you know, he's got all these connections and all the rest of it. So I'm really intrigued because there was a point where this was true, but I want to know now, even to this day, have you raised any finance or anyone from the football world? Have they invested? Zero still?
Yeah.
Still? Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's see if we can get this posted in some kind of football magazine or something. And yeah, because look, that's the thing. First thing that people are going to look for is like, oh yeah, but you know, he can do it. That doesn't mean I can do it. So, I mean, based on your learning so far up to this point, just where you've explained where you are in this journey, not obviously what you're doing these days, but at that point, what was the difference? What had been the shift? And now you're making this money. Now you're raising this money. Now you're looking at, you're seeing opportunities. What was the difference so far just at this point?
I think people were willing. If people knew me before, they knew what you were like as a human being in the first place. But obviously, just being a human being, just a decent human being, doesn't mean that you're worthy of investment. But then they maybe start seeing you. They start watching you. They start saying, "Okay, this guy's committed. He puts a lot of value on it." And I don't know. You get a lot of compliments off people who are willing to work with you, and then you ask them why. Why do you want to work with? Why aren't you doing it yourself? And they just see a lot of value in you as a person, and they just want to work with you.
Yeah, good. So yeah, but what's the difference in you? I mean, you're talking about, you know, the natural organic aspect of it. What's the difference? I mean, because you just spent 5 years in property. Now all of a sudden everything is changing. So what changed for you? Like if you were to give people some either inspiration, which you're very inspirational, we're going to touch on some amazing things that you've been doing. But like if you were to give some people some information, what is it that they need to look out for? What is it that they need to realize or do or learn or?
The biggest thing that was for me, which worked, was tell everyone what you do. Put yourself onto an arena where you can be shut down. Tell people that you are working full-time in property. Even if you don't think you're doing big enough projects to think that you're not worthy of that. If you're full-time in property, you're full-time in property. And at that time, I was full-time in property. I started telling people, whereas the previous few years, I was almost a closet property investor. I thought, well, if I don't tell them, if nobody knows, if it doesn't make any money, no one will know. I'll just sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah. Okay. So the difference is you went from actually like, I don't want to put myself in a position where if I fail, then all these people know, to actually, the more people I tell, the more of a reality it becomes anyway.
Yeah. And then over a period of time then, a few people started reaching out to me out of the blue. Not everyone turned into an investor, but over a period of time, people go, listen, I'd maybe like to hear a little bit more about you. Is it okay if we have a conversation? You thought, oh, wow, okay. And yesterday, I get a message through Facebook yesterday. Someone who I know through a network, don't really know them that well, send a message saying, Shane, I've got a project for you. Let's have a chat. I'm like, okay, do you want to Zoom? He's like, I'm not a Zoomer. He said, it doesn't have to be now. He says, but so he's obviously earmarked me for something, but I don't have a clue what that something is. So he's going off a reputation. But so over a period of time, you build up a reputation, but you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, good, absolutely. So so now you start figuring out, you start to get some results. Give us some projects. Give us what's your best project so far today? What's your most exciting one?
The most exciting one would be the development in Cheltenham, which is 6 houses, and it was a really scary one. Bearing in mind, I'd never really done anything more than that was to the value of £250,000. This one, we've still got one more to sell, but the value of these is £4.5 million.
Awesome. So you went from doing, one house, one project to a development of a site.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So just tell us something, because I know that's a very interesting story. So just give us the backstory on that, how you came across it, what you had to do to acquire it, and then obviously where it is today.
Well, it was what you call a distress sale. So it was someone had started the project and it hadn't gone that great. And and they fell foul of the finance, and they were caught in a really, really, really expensive loan, and they couldn't do any more building work. So they couldn't actually generate the building to sell it, to pay off the debt. So they had debt that was mounting up with interest. So they needed to try and sell it. So I was presented with the opportunity, and I had obviously worked on my mindset a little bit and thought, I can do that. I wasn't foolish enough to think that, yes, I can do that. I was like, okay, well, I would love to be a part of that. I started thinking about what mechanisms I needed in place to enable to put it together. And we did. And I'll note it was January the 15th, 2019. Yeah, when I went to see it for the first time, and we completed on March the 8th. So in a really short period of time, we had to establish what it was we were buying. We were up against the clock big time. It wasn't a nice situation because there was a lot of stress involved for the vendors. There was some personal issues that wasn't nice. So there's a lot of emotion involved. But we managed to save the situation where, sadly, there was a man and woman involved, and sadly the man passed away after we went to view it, which left all the debt that was on the site to the wife and the widow. So we'd already met these people, so we were like, oh God, this is not a nice situation to be in. So there was a few parties that were bidding on the site, but we became the preferred buyers, and the lawyers for the sellers, they were recommending us as the buyers because we were trying to do it fairly. So we've included any profit we make out of the site, we're including the seller in it.
Wow, fantastic. So what were some of the challenges in this particular deal? Because you say it was a short space of time, there's a lot of debt on the side. So what was happening?
Well, they wouldn't, we had to try and get finance on the site initially because they thought, yeah, no problem. You'll be able to do this by putting in, say, £200,000 as a deposit. And we thought, yeah, that's fine. Even though we didn't have £200,000, we thought, oh, that'll be a challenge. And then the goalpost kept on moving. So quickly we thought we might need about £200,000 to start. That quickly turned into, we needed to raise about £600,000 in a really, really short period of time. But all in all, we purchased the site for just over £1.8 million. So we had to raise bank finance and private finance in order to cover that and pay off about, well, there was about 150 to 200,000 pound of additional costs that were involved. So we needed to generate just over £2 million worth of finance it's actually worked out in about a 3-week period. And I don't know how we did it, but we got together and we did it. We pulled it off.
Awesome. So so what happened with that? So you had 150K's worth of debt that you had to do what with?
We had to pay it off because there was debt on the land. There was debt for the build that was going on. There was lots of creditors. So we came in and the bank said, yeah, we will lend on this site, but we can't afford to lend on site when there's potential creditors. So we had to pay all of that debt off before we completed. We didn't want to pay it off before we exchanged because obviously we're giving money away. Mm-hmm. So it was very stressful.
So how did you deal with that?
I don't know. I literally dealt with it by just picking up the phone and just ploughing through problem after problem and surrounding myself with some people who are way more knowledgeable than me in certain areas.
Awesome. Yeah, because I know you're a big, I don't know if this comes from your footballing days and being, like committed to the training and how you have to be really disciplined in that field. But like you're also very committed to all the resources and the training that real life it was providing to you. And I know that there was a lot of negotiation and there was a lot of things to do. Wasn't there some story about you in the coffee shop?
Yeah, that was that was it. That was through them. Some of the resources that have been provided through real life. There's like a negotiation module, and I'll never forget. There's coffee shops. There's actually 2 good stories. First one was I was sat in a coffee shop called the Curious Cafe in Cheltenham, and I was watching the videos. And on each page of my book, I was going through the 10 principles of negotiation, and I was relating it to me in this deal. This was before I went to meet the man and the woman and the solicitor in the first place. Like, I wanted us to be the preferred buyers. So that was that. And then there was another one, when we had to raise all the money to pay off, we thought, how do we need to raise all that money to pay it off, or we need to try and reduce the money to pay off. Because obviously raising money is hard, it is tough. And we did, we managed it in 4 hours. We got a parking ticket to show for it. We were sat in a car park in Costa, me and my business partner, on the phone, negotiating. And we managed to reduce the outlay by over £50,000 in 4 hours.
50,000.
Just by negotiating.
50,000 in 4 hours. That's brilliant. Yeah, awesome. You got the parking ticket. Yeah, that's funny. So now what's going on with this? I mean, you kind of like a hero in this situation. You know, things have turned worse. There's debt mounting. What was the debt that was needing to be serviced, like on a monthly basis?
Well, the debt on it was about to go into default. So by default, it means they've given you a loan for a period of time, and then when that runs out, they just start whacking you with a massive debt. And we were going into this project, and we were trying to complete by a certain time, like end of February. I think it was like the 27th of February. But we couldn't get everything in a row. So on the 27th, 28th of February, we said to the bank, we said, listen, we're going to complete on this deal in the next week. Will you just stave off the emergency interest? And they said, no, they're going to penalise the sellers £37,000 a month. So we thought, well, if they're not going to extend it, we had to swallow it. So obviously the seller didn't have the £37,000 to pay for it, so we had to, which was horrible.
So you literally saved the day for this widow and this seller and this situation.
Yeah, it's been really, really good. And
look how humble you are. You literally saved the day.
Yeah.
What other person comes into the deal? You know, most people, and this is what I love about this community and this culture that we have here, you know, and great people like you being a part of it, is that most people would be like, well, I'm going to use this to my advantage then. I'm going to reduce the price. I'm going to reduce the pay. I want to get myself a better deal here because someone else is in pain. Where rather than doing that, you've actually done an awesome thing, which is be able to make sure that the person is okay and the deal still works for everybody involved, and you're including them in the profit as well.
Well, when I say including, the old seller will do, she'll do far better than, say, me personally out of it. But at the time, we thought it works to do this. It's going to help us to do the deal this way. I've got no doubt we could have, and I'm sure there's lots of other people who would have, at the last minute just gone, do you know what? We're not going to include that little clause that includes you in the profit. And we could have taken that away. But you're only as good as your reputation. The town that I live in, and the town that I'd like to think I'm well respected in, that's not what we're about. You go down the abundance attitude of this will come back in many other ways. I don't know exactly how it will come back. It probably already has. But no, it'll be nice. There'll be no great, it's just a shame.
There's 6 houses on there, right? And you sold 5 of them during quarantine coronavirus.
Yeah, we've still got some of the process to go through.
Yeah, I know, but that is coming back to you already, my friend.
Yeah. So if the lockdown wasn't in place, we would have got rid of it by now, and she would have been paid by now. But as it is, we're delayed. But it's not. It's costing everyone a bit of money, but it's not going to kill us, which is a good thing. And we've got a good business platform now to move forward with.
Yeah, amazing. So you've actually come up with this whole, being able to do developments and like what we call it, and like the training that we provide is like a passive deal structure. So you put a deal structure together where literally everybody is benefiting, and it makes it very passive, and it can be replicated, and you can go and do it time and time again. You could even have multiple, projects running at the same time, because for you it's very passive, but who else is to add the value without the training, without the leadership, without your abilities to pull that all together? So it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. So look, if you was to say, or give people the advice, like if they want to upscale their life, if they want to upscale their business, if they want to just do something, if like you said, you were working all hours. You weren't seeing your son, only 6 months old, precious time, especially when and it's a son for you, right? And you want to start kicking a football around with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what advice you have for other people that might be thinking, well, it is what it is. This is the money I have. This is the skills I have. So this is the life I have to live. What advice or inspiration do you have for the people to maybe just go and do something different and then be able to be in a position like you where you're literally adding value to society?
I would say the biggest thing that was beneficial to me was, because I always knew inside, I'm not like an arrogant person, and I'm not like a big-headed person. But inside, I knew my value. I knew I had so much strength, but I always kept it inside. And actually, it's almost just bringing that out and being a little bit more external and being confident to others and believing in yourself. And equally, I think a lot of people, including myself, you always think that if it goes wrong, you often think that what could go wrong is far worse than what actually will go wrong. So it's almost managing your fear. So it's making the good better and reducing the fear, and it helps you go forward. And I'm a big believer of information on its own is never enough. So that's why I think, well, this process that we've got going within the real life is information, but then it's also sort of, you feel there's about four. Imagine you're in a nightclub and you fall out with someone. You've got like 5 bouncers dragging you out. That's what the real life sort of crowd is like. You've got people falling over and they're a bit too drunk. They're falling over, and you've got a few people to grab them and go, "Oi, come on, don't give up. Let's just keep going," because it's not easy. But it's a matter of both. It's information and a lot of self-development going on. Because
it's definitely the transformation. That's why this is called Transformational Tuesday. Yeah, because we want to share the transformation of the journey. Like you say, information is a big part of our culture. Everybody in the real life tribe realizes information is not the real education. Real education is like the process of the transformation. Yeah, and you've done that incredibly. And I know you've always loved and had the passion, and you run coaching. You do coaching for football, right?
Yeah, I've actually just stopped that only recently, just because the commitments were too much.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're adding value elsewhere, because I know you're one of our real life results coaches as well, and you're doing a lot. Yeah, I mean, some of the people you're working with, they're now creating multi-million-pound property portfolios with tens of thousands of cash flow net each month, right?
Yeah, and that's really, I love it. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, we could see that in you in the beginning, that you got this desire, and you're doing the coaching, and you're committed, and you love the responsibility. So taking full responsibility for your path, your family, and owning, all of that has been awesome to watch, and some amazing results, doing multi-million-pound developments now, and helping other people do the same and progress through their life. So do you have any last words of inspiration? If you're just talking to someone now, if you're just talking to someone who, like you say, might feel like they're just maybe at the verge of giving up, or not giving up, but just maybe settling, and they're just going to tolerate life for what they've been told that it should be. What's your advice?
In a football dressing room I used to be in, there was a little notice above the door. And as you
This is Anfield.
No, not there. Wasn't that good. It was, regret the things you do, not the things you don't do. So be willing to move forward, do things a little bit differently, and be open to doing things differently. And one of the affirmations I live by is just model rich and successful people. Because I used to think I needed to be the expert in everything. Then I'm like, well, actually, I just need to copy what other people are doing. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And it almost gives it something tangible to think, well, if they can do it, I can do it. So it's just really, really work on yourself. Get some audio books on the go and start growing.
Awesome. Good stuff. And I don't want anybody to ever forget, because definitely you've been a real good advocate of this. You are an award-winning property investor.
Oh, man.
You got them next to you, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, award-winning, multiple award-winning, I believe.
As well? Are those two? Hey!
Awesome. Yeah. So look, and this is actually come from the major philosophy here, which is do the right thing for the right reasons, because that's the only way that you're going to discover your true potential. So for the people that want to follow in the footsteps or they want to be involved in the real life tribe, I mean, first of all, just start doing the right thing for the right reason. You don't even have to be part of anything to do that. But if you want to be around super successful people who are in the right mindset, who are going to be there to love and support you, which for some people sounds a bit, either woo-woo or a bit soppy or whatever. But at the end of the day, that's what we're all craving. So if you want to be a part of that, and you want to get closer to these people, you want to get yourself to the next Real Life Property Wealth event, there'll be a link somewhere in this description. Click that, go view the websites, check us out, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want more information and inspirational stories from all of these transformations that are happening. Because as Shane says, if he can do it, then you can do it as well.
Well, you can window shop, can't you? Go and window shop, have a look, see what's it all about, and then see what you're missing.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. So just enjoy the free resources. But if you want to turbocharge your life, your success, make sure you get involved. Messages, call the office, speak to someone. We're looking for more people. We're looking for the next Shane, and Shane's looking for the next people to bring under his wing to help them achieve financial freedom or whatever success looks like for you. So remember, do the right thing for the right reason. Thank you so much, Shane, for joining us. Very special. I can't wait to have some updates on your journey and the other special things you're doing. And next time we'll have you here at Real Life Headquarters when all of this stuff hopefully just dies away and evaporates so we can get on with the real business of transformational work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.